Yo, what's good? It's your man 100 Grand Russ with The Rock Never Stops. Today, I want to talk about why Ausar Thompson should be starting on opening night for the Detroit Pistons. If you enjoy this video, smash that like button for me, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications, and feel free to disagree or agree with me in the comments section. You know we're going to chop it up there. Look, I know what a lot of you are thinking, and let's just address this off top. A lot of you are thinking, you need shooting around Cade Cunningham. I got it. I get it. We've seen the Luka Doncic's, we've seen the James Hardens, we've seen the heliocentric offenses. We understand how important spacing and reliable shooting is around a dominant playmaker, facilitator at the point position. I get it. But hear me out on this. Let me just start off by saying I think there's a whole lot more shooting around Cade Cunningham than we may even realize. One, as people have constantly brought up, especially in my previous Jaden Ivey videos, that Jaden Ivey's shooting percentage went up almost every single month. And by the end of the season, he was shooting at an average, if not above average rate, which is really, really good and telling for a rookie's long-term projection as a shooter, that if he can get to an NBA league average from their three-point line as a rookie, he's likely going to be an average, if not above average, three-point shooter throughout his career. And so when you think about what it might mean to have a 36 to 38% three-point shooter next to Cade Cunningham in the backcourt already, we have to begin to kind of rethink the amount of shooting that is already there. Secondly, Isaiah Stewart has also been an incredible, I'm not going to say incredible shooter, but his progress as a shooter has been incredible. He has shown that he can knock down threes at a league average level. Remember, he's still early in his career as well. Then you look at Jalen Duren, who's had the shooting touch, who's had nice mid-range level coming into the NBA. They showed a little bit of it last season as a rookie. But then this summer league and off season, you're seeing it even more. And more than likely, they are going to allow him to continue to extend that range to make sure that he can develop that shooting potential, which I think is essential for him as a player, as a big man, as an asset to this team long term. That it's better to allow him to shoot a little bit below average and struggle for a couple of seasons to get his confidence up, his reps up, his game time up, spotting up in the corner, spotting up at the top of the key on pick and pops, right? Knocking down open threes to become that Brook Lopez type of big that can be inside and out over the next 4 to 5 years, rather than pigeonhole him underneath the basket early in his career and not allow him to extend his range, right? Like somebody like a Mitchell Robinson, right? Because for those of us who know about Mitchell Robinson, when he was in high school, he was shooting threes. Wendell Carter Jr., when he was in high school, he was shooting threes. And when both of them got to the pros, to the Knicks and to the Bulls, they were pigeonholed under the basket. And now we look at them. Well, Wendell Carter Jr. has gotten far more opportunity with the Orlando Magic because they've dedicated to rebuilding and to the development of their players. And so now all of a sudden he's taking 3 to 5 threes a game and he's at league average, if not better. Mitchell Robinson still hasn't gotten that opportunity, but we see the difference in their outlook and potential when they get the opportunity. And I think that that's something that's going to be given to Jalen Duren. And so you begin to see that you're going to have shooting around Cade Cunningham. Not to mention, I also anticipate seeing his shooting go up as well. Also see him getting more to the free throw line and getting to the rim, really expanding that mid-range game. And I think that that's something that's going to allow him to get into more of a rhythm to get his shooting to that league average, if not above as well. So when you think about having a potential above average, average, and then maybe slightly beneath average with Jalen Duren, you already have a good amount of shooting before you get to that small forward position. But here's the thing. Yes, you can add another shooter like a Bojan Bogdanovic. And this is the second point. Ausar Thompson creates open looks. He's somebody that has that knack, that feel for the game, that ability to read it at a high level, to be able to create open looks for his teammates. His athleticism and just his sheer gravity on the court when he's attacking the rim in transition or off of a kick out, backdoor cut. He's somebody that has to be accounted for, so much so that he draws the amount of attention that also creates more open looks for shooters. And if I'm honest with you, just from what I saw in Summer League, I probably trust Ausar Thompson creating for others, attacking the rim, more than I would a Jaden Ivey. I actually feel like Jaden Ivey just needs to be in score mode. And Ausar Thompson allowing him to play more of that Andre Iguodala type role, where he's an extremely athletic, physical wing who can get to the rim almost at will because of his ball handling, agility, and explosiveness. That he sucks in the defense continuously, creating open looks for others. And to have somebody who can do that at a high level, reading the floor, reading the team, knowing who to get the ball to outside of Cade Cunningham, means that you're also creating open looks for Cade Cunningham, which should also improve his three-point shooting. Now, kind of the last point, and this is kind of a linchpin point, excuse me, is that Monty Williams is a defensive-minded coach. Dwayne Casey is also a defensive-minded coach, but hasn't had necessarily defensive personnel. And to be frank, as willing a defender as Cade Cunningham is, and as hopefully improving backcourt defender as Jaden Ivey is, you begin to realize that you might need somebody in that wing perimeter position who can be an ace defender, who can be somebody relied upon to take on the tough defensive assignments so that Cade Cunningham doesn't have to. Because make no mistake about it, if Bojan Bogdanovic has to fill that role, he's not going to be able to take on those primary perimeter defensive assignments. He's not somebody who can move his feet in that way. And this begins to shape how you even perceive the identity of the team when you have offensive-minded players and a lack of ace defensive-minded personnel in that starting lineup. And so when you look at the long-term commitment of this team, I think we can kind of almost assume from what we've seen already with Ausar Thompson, he is in the long-term outlook of this team. For sure, far more than a Bojan Bogdanovic is. And so committing to him from opening tip, from the beginning of the season, really communicates the message of what this team is going to be about. They're going to be about defense. They're going to be about team first. They're going to be about guys who can make each other better and also bring the requisite energy on both ends of the court. Now, on top of that, Ausar Thompson also brings somebody who can amplify this team in transition. Right now, it's kind of Jaden Ivey is that main athlete who can really accelerate the transition game of this team. But I think having somebody like Ausar Thompson, whom he can play alongside of on the wing, really allows you to have a transition game that I think is also going to supplement maybe the scoring efficiency that you may lose a little bit of with not having an ace, a well above average three-point shooter in a Bojan Bogdanovic in that starting lineup. And so when we think about how this team is going to become an efficient offense and the shooting that we might want, I think it is a bit more complex than just let's just get as many shooters out there as possible, right? Now, last but not least, I think as an aside, is I was initially like, yeah, I'd be okay with Bojan Bogdanovic starting the season in the starting small forward role because you want to make sure his trade value is up, right? Because I think Ausar Thompson eventually supplants him by midseason. And then at that point, you're going to be totally open to trading him away for future assets, maybe picks, in a salary dump-off. But here's the thing. I think the league already understands the value of Bojan Bogdanovic. I think they fully know what he's capable of, that he's a walking bucket. He's a great shooter, great playing off the ball, smart player, versatile forward who can play some small ball, power forward, and small forward. And whether he's coming off the bench or not, they're going to know that he can do that in a starting role or a bench role. And considering how old he is and how many miles he has on his body, his future might be more as someone coming off the bench, even for a play, especially for a playoff team at this point. And if he needs to start, he can do that as well. So, as always, I want to know what you all think. Do you think Ausar Thompson should be starting on opening night? Or do you think Bojan Bogdanovic is the de facto starting small forward? Holler at me in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button for me. Hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. And I'm out, y'all. Peace.